Happy New Year's! Well, today is January the 1st, 2019. Wow, 2018 passed fairly quickly, for me at least. It seems like it was kind of slow in the beginning, but the last few months it passed fairly quick. Anyways, today I want to start doing a little bit of a review for this new year. I was watching Bird Box yesterday, and I just want to share some of my thoughts about the movie. Of course, it's a Netflix movie that's been gaining a lot in popularity recently. I mean, there's already hundreds of reviews on YouTube with everyone wearing bandanas or masks or cloth over their eyes to mimic the the Sandra Bullock's character and her family's and basically everyone in the movie who's trying to survive. The way to survive is by hiding their eyes from seeing these creatures or demons or whatever, from causing them to go crazy and suicidal. The weird thing is that the crazy people are not affected. So that's why you see some of these crazies running around in cars, in the supermarket, trying to kill them. Actually, there's spoilers here, so please do not watch if you are not interested in spoilers. I'll give you time to stop watching now. Anyway, so let me get back to the review with spoilers. So Sandra Bullock, the beginning of the movie, she's pregnant. She's trying to go back, hang out with her sister, and suddenly in the middle of the street while they were driving, the whole world just goes crazy. This is very much similar to A Quiet Place, if you've seen that movie. Except in The Quiet Place, you sort of get to see what the creatures look like. In this movie, you never really see the creatures. You see movements of the trees. You see wind sweeping up debris, leaves and stuff. You hear a little bit of a sound. But okay, to continue, I was using a recorder on my phone, and it just went to power save mode. So I guess I should click on this. I should click stuff once in a while to prevent it from going back into power saving mode. But anyways, back to the review. I was saying I missed about 15 minutes of my review, but let me see if I can try to remember what I said. So I was saying that the movie was pretty good. It's similar to A Quiet Place, but I don't think it's a direct copy. I think because the book came out a while back, and I read the book a few years ago. I remember, maybe 2-3 years ago. So anyways, one thing that made me like the movie was the acting. I thought Sandra Bullock was really good in this movie, and John Malkovich was really good as well. But there were a lot of moments that caused me to be really, really upset and angry. Like this character, Danielle McDonough, and the way she was acting to let that crazy idiot come in to kill them. That was... Let me see if I can get the name of the character that came in. It was Tom Hollander. So he was able to come in because Danielle McDonough's character here let him in because she was feeling kind of sorry for him, I guess. And that was just crazy. I couldn't believe that they would actually let him in, and then John Malkovich tried to prevent him from staying, but then he got knocked out by Jackie Weaver in the back of the head with a vase. And that just triggered a whole series of unfortunate events that killed half the people in the house. Everybody gets killed because of Danielle McDonough's character's stupid action. and even she was killed by her own stupid action. So I was very, very upset by that character's actions in causing everyone's death. I mean, they were doing pretty well with the bird being able to detect that creature and them feeding themselves and everything. They were doing pretty well up to that point. And movies like this sort of make you remember not to be stupid when there's an apocalypse. Don't try to be the good person or the person who tries to save everyone else and not be paranoid. One thing I learned from these movies is to be paranoid at all times. If you want to survive, that is. I also like Rosa Salazar's character. She was very hot actually in this movie. Oh, wow, she plays this anime person? I didn't know that. I see. Oh, this is my first time seeing this. That she's gonna be in this Battle Angel movie. I forgot the name of it. Battle Angel Alita. Wow, I didn't know she was the one in the movie. Interesting. Okay, so that was something I just discovered right now. So anyways, and this BD Wong character, he was the first one to die in the house. That was really sad, actually. The confidence he had, the smugness that he would survive. I felt sorry for him. I really like his character. I wanted to see more of him. And then to die just like that. The only sane person with some intelligence in the whole movie within the house was John Malkovich. Anyway, so overall, I would rate the movie maybe a B minus or B. No, B minus, I would think, because it was not able to show the creature, and I really wanted to see the creature, see what it looked like. What things did I like? I liked them in the house trying to figure out all these things, and then the crazies being able to be the ones that still stay sane while not killing themselves by these creatures. And I think one of the reviews on YouTube that I saw said that these creatures represent depression in society, and how everything was blue. A lot of the characters wore blue. The color blue appears throughout a lot in the movies in the form of clothing, in the form of I think objects and things like that. As a metaphor for depression and how people, when they're depressed, they kill themselves and they're not in control of themselves. They're suicidal. So I think after I read that review on YouTube, after I saw it, it made sense to me. That depression is not something you can see. When it happens, it will overtake you. And I guess the only way to survive is to be blind and just to plow ahead. This sort of reminds me a little bit about from the movie, I think The Fog. Was it The Fog by Stephen King? Remember that movie from a few years ago? Everyone's stuck in a supermarket and they're getting killed by these creatures when they venture out. And the sad ending, again this is a spoiler, in the end, the main character kills himself and his family, his 2 kids, because he thought he was gonna be killed by these creatures, and he rather kill himself than let his family be eaten by these creatures. But he couldn't see. They were still in the fog, and he thought he was right, that there was no way out of the situation, so he killed his family. And when the fog lifted, he saw that these evil creatures from another dimension were defeated finally. and there were people were getting saved, and then at that point he was the only survivor, and he realized just minutes ago he killed his whole family for no reason, along with his friend and lover. I mean, maybe the lover, upcoming lover, maybe. But it was just really sad and a harrowing experience. So I think this movie reminded me a little bit of that, but instead of killing themselves in the end, they kept going. They just blind themselves to this all this horror around them, and held on to that belief that there's something better out there. Hope. That there was hope. They didn't kill their hope. And maybe that's what saved them in the end, and something that didn't save the guy in the Fog, the Fog movie. What other stuff did I get from watching this movie? I guess the crazy people. I'm wondering, how are they able to survive and from killing themselves, even though they can watch the creatures without blindfolds. I guess crazy people, maybe they don't want to kill themselves. So that tells me that this thing is a mental disease. Okay, I guess that's what it tells me. That whatever they're seeing that causes these most people to kill themselves, it's a mental thing, which I guess fits in with the depression metaphor. So I feel sorry for John Malkovich. He was the one that was right. He was the paranoid one that was right all this time, and instead, the people in the house killed him, didn't believe him. I wonder if there's going to be a sequel. I guess there might be, right? Because in the end, the creatures are still roaming around. They do have some survivors in this house. So what happened at the end was Sandra Bullock there was a character named Tom in the movie, Trevante Rhodes, I guess, and they were the last two adults in the house who survived, and but then later on he was killed. So she took the kids and traveled up down the river, or up the river, I don't know which, but to find these this other community. And this community was actually a former house for blind people, and they were able to survive because they're blind, so they were never affected by these creatures. And I think the theme of birds being able to lead them and birds being able to help them to survive came out throughout the whole movie. I'm not sure how that fits birds. Maybe birds signify happiness again? Life? You know how, when you're depressed, one day you will just hear the birds chirping again. I think there are songs and expressions that involve birds. Maybe that's related somehow. I don't know. So anyways, at the end, she goes to this house with this community of people who are able to survive with the help of blind people. But the creatures are still alive, so I'm thinking maybe there might be a sequel, because the creature is not gone. So there must be a way that they can defeat the creatures somehow. But how do you defeat creatures that are unseenable? They're invisible, basically, and then they can affect you even through video, which is kind of strange. So BD Wong dies in the movie because he was watching a video of these creatures from a camera. I mean, he didn't even see the creatures. He just saw, the movie at least didn't show it. He just saw some leaves rustling. Next thing we know, he got affected and his eyes started doing weird shit, and then he just kills himself. So, it seems like these creatures are like invincible, yet somehow this community of people is able to survive in the house just because of the birds. I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever. And the creature's not able to fight these people physically somehow, and only they can kill them by sight. That makes no sense. How are these creatures able to move leaves and cause rustling and topple things, but then they can't hurt a person if they're blindfolded? That makes no sense. That's why this just kind of like I that's why I give it a B minus. Some of the stuff just not make any sense. And who was Sarah Paulson's character? I don't remember her. Machine Gun Kelly was in it. I don't know who the hell he is. Machine Gun Kelly, who the hell is he? He's a rapper. Oh, I see. Anyways, I thought the movie was a B minus. It's worth watching. I didn't watch it for a while even though I knew it was on Netflix, because I read the book and I thought the book was kind of okay. It wasn't great. If you get a chance to read the book, go ahead and read it. But if you don't read it, that's fine. It's not something you have to read. But if in terms of an adaptation from the book, I thought they did a pretty good job. I enjoyed it. I watched it a few times, certain scenes, just to make sure I was understanding it correctly. So it intrigued me. Even though you don't get to see the creatures, but just the behavior it's a great study in character behavior and tension. So those are the type of movies I do like. Anyways, Happy New Year's. I also watched the movie Happy New Year's, made in 2011, I think it was, with all these movie stars. Didn't really finish that one. Didn't really like it that much. This one, Birdhouse. I mean, not Birdhouse. Bird Box. I liked more. So Happy New Year's, and I hope you have a great 2019. And please click like and subscribe to help me out this year as I continue to work on my channel. Peace out.